This is the Ronettes singing Baby I Love You, one of my favorite songs of all time. And it's a very bittersweet reason why I've decided to go up against copyright again, is because Ronnie Spector, the lead singer of the Ronettes, and the former wife of that sick individual, Phil Spector, who was a great record producer but was a miserable, awful human being. Was married to him for a while. She passed away this week, one of a few big deaths that we'll be discussing this week on Dylan Knows. It's been quite a week. It's episode 426, shot through the arm and 2 arms vaxed. Of course, shot through the heart and you're too late, anyway. I originally was going to maybe call it shot through the arm and 2 shots vaxed, but I think that makes a bit more sense what I said here. I'm home alone today. My wife and kids are camping now in the 14-degree weather that it is currently right now. Potential of it was planned out originally to be a massive snowstorm, but the way it's been forming and the warm air that's going to be creeping in through the East Coast is going to shift the snowstorm that we are getting tomorrow from what could have been 12 inches to a 3 to 6 inch snow, with a quarter layer of ice on top, which is going to be shitty because the warm temperatures, the temperatures are going to go up later tomorrow, which is going to cause that ice to form on top of the snow. So it's going to be quite the freaking mess on Monday. Now, luckily, kids are already off from Martin Luther King Day, but as for me going to work, we'll have to wait and see. But we had quite a week, as I said. I'll talk to you about that. I have a new show that I watched while I was sort of recovering from my booster shot and flu shot, which I'll talk about from Netflix. Got word that we're going to get our first real-length trailer of Moon Knight, which possibly could have the date of when it appears. Some big deaths, a volcano eruption, a standoff at a Jewish synagogue has just got word, breaking news, it has ended peacefully. Well, peacefully enough that the hostages are okay. The hostage taker has been killed. Scream opened up. Some new shows on Disney. Some pictures of upcoming things. Mountain Dew is actually going to have a new flavor coming out this year that we've seen before, but it's new, and we'll tell you about that. My Book of Boba Fett preview, or not review, I should say review. Coffee Mate and coffee creamers get some new flavors. Some new movie updates, some archaeological stuff, football information. We find out who the national champions are. The first 2 playoff games are set to go now. The Golden Globes happened this week and nobody knew about it. So I'll get you the list of winners there because I just heard about it, and I'll tell you why no one heard about it. So, another kind of shortish week. Not as short as last week, so this will probably go a little bit over an hour. So we may as well just go ahead and get started right on it. Now, this week was a interesting week. Started off with the Ravens and the Steelers playing each other in Baltimore, and the winner of that game, barring a miracle, the Indianapolis Colts, who have been playing good football of late, taking on the lowly Jaguars. If the Colts somehow miraculously lost, the Ravens and Steelers could very well get into the playoffs with a little bit of help from some other stuff as well. So watching the game, it's a typical Steelers-Ravens game, hard-fought. Ravens led for most of the game till near the end when the Steelers went ahead, but the Ravens tied it up just before the end of the quarter, and they went to an overtime thing that almost ended in a tie, but the Steelers pulled it out and got a field goal to win 16-13. Now, that scenario where it would almost be impossible that the Colts, who've been on fire of late, losing to the lowly Jaguars, was all of a sudden blown up when the Jaguars came out of the box and just annihilated the Colts, causing the Steelers to be able to get in as long as the Raiders-Chargers game did not end in a tie. Now, here's the thing about that. I talked about this last week. If the Chargers and Raiders game ended in a tie, they would both be able to get into the playoffs. The Raiders end up winning. Apparently, it did go to overtime. Apparently, the rumor is that the Chargers coach took a timeout near the very end of the game and the Raiders were thinking about just taking the knee and tying the game. But once they did that, they said that's an affront to us, and they kicked the field goal to win the game. I think that's a bunch of BS because according to people who stayed up and watched it, the quarterback for the Raiders, Derek Carr, was in a formation that did not appear to be as a kneel down thing position. It was to be we're going to kick a field goal sort of thing. So we'll see about that. Regardless, it didn't happen, and the Steelers got into the playoffs due to the Jacksonville Jaguars annihilating the Colts and the the Chargers-Raiders game not ending in a tie. Now, the Ravens, if they would have won the game, they wouldn't have gotten in because despite the fact that the Colts lost to the Chargers, they needed to have somebody else lose. The Dolphins, I think the Dolphins had to lose to the Patriots or something like that, and the Patriots actually lost to the Dolphins, so they wouldn't have been able to make it in anyway, even if they'd won that game against the Steelers. But it puts their record at 8-9, last place in the division, gives them the number 14 draft pick, so hopefully they can use that to pick up someone good, and it gives the Ravens a last place schedule, which is a lot easier considering they're going to be playing teams like the Jaguars and the Jets and the Giants. And hopefully all of our players will come back healthy because we had a amazing amount of people who were injured, sick, whatever, and could not play. If we had everybody there, we could have won some of these close games. That's the other thing also is that everyone is treating this like the Ravens were just the worst team in the NFL, when in fact only 2 of the 17 games they played ended in blowouts. Both were by the Bengals against the Ravens. Every other game was close enough that the Ravens played them tough, even with all these hardships. So I don't want to hear any bullshit about how the Ravens were the worst team in football right now, because they actually could have won a number of games. They wouldn't have done some stupid plays, taking chances on second, 2-point conversions, things here and there, regardless. So I'm done with talking about that. That led to, I think last week I talked to you about, I had issues with my car. The wheel froze, and I went to Jiffy Lube. They said it was rack and pinion steering. I went to my mechanic. He said it's not rack and pinion steering. Your car does not have rack and pinion steering, but I won't know until I take a look what it is. So I dropped off my car on Wednesday, along with the paperwork for Enterprise, where I bought the car from, to pay for the repairs, because that was part of the deal that I signed with them. And I called them. They hadn't called me in a while, so I got in there on Tuesday night, and they were going to look at it first thing in the morning. For them, it's 8:30 a.m. and I didn't hear from them, so I called them about 1:00. They said, yeah, they just got off of the phone with Enterprise to get the work approved, which they did, and they said that it was in fact rack and pinion steering. So the guy who told me it wasn't was wrong, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt this time, and that depending on when the parts would come in, I could get it as late as Friday. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I decided to go to Enterprise and get a rental car, thinking that they would pay for it. But they told me, well, you have to pay for it yourself, and then you have to send them something, and they will reimburse you. So I got a car. It was a white Toyota Camry. I wanted a economy size. They didn't have any, so they gave me a mid-size, and but charged me the economy rate, and took it home, and then drove it to work the next morning on that Thursday. Get a call about 10 a.m. Car's done. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, the car's done. I was like, oh, okay. That's crazy. You go ahead and pick it up. So I was like, cool. So I left my job at my usual time, dropped off the car at the Enterprise because they closed at 5:00, and this was about 4:30 when I dropped it off. So I dropped it off, and they just charged me for 1 day, and you have to put a $300 down payment on it originally. Then they put that back in after you return the car in good shape. So I did that, and then I walked up to my mechanic, and he said, yeah, it was really easy working with Enterprise. Never worked with them before, and surprised how easy it was. Everything's been paid for except for the 2 tires that I needed to get fixed by them. they discovered there was a nail in one of them. The other one was road tread was very bad, so they just fixed that. So I had to pay for that. They did fix my check engine light thing that the Enterprise covered also, along with the rack and pinion steering. So I got in my car. I had no lights on. I had no check engine lights on. I had no, your left tire or your tires are low on air. So I was like, okay, cool. And the steering worked fine. And I drove it home. And then Friday I drove to work with no problems. I had no issues. Everything was good. And I went out this morning, and that's where I went out this evening when the temperature was about 19 degrees, which is when the wheel froze last time. Twice, actually. It froze on Tuesday before I left work on Tuesday. It froze again. So I had to sit there for about 10 minutes before I sort of pulled it and it popped, and I was able to move it then. Didn't have a problem. So everything's good. So that was fine. Friday, I also had set up an appointment to get my booster shot for the COVID vaccine and also get the flu vaccine, because I usually don't get the flu vaccine because I don't like it, because I've gotten it a few times and I've gotten flu and I was like, it's ridiculous. So I just hadn't been getting it, but I've been getting sick a lot. So just like, let's just go ahead and just get both, because you can get both at the same time. So I got both. They jabbed this arm, boom, first with a COVID booster, and then they jabbed this arm, boom, with the flu thing. My family had left to go on camping. So I got home, didn't really have any issues. My arms, notwithstanding, were hurting, and they're still hurting right now, about 24 plus hours after I got the shot. That's about 30 hours after I got a shot. I'm not expecting it to heal up until sometime probably Monday, which is going to be tough. I'm going to have to shovel snow tomorrow. So we'll see what happens about that. And my head is pounding right now. So I think that's an issue with that as well. And my stomach's been kind of off. But other than that, that's really the only things right now that I have an issue with. So that's all been taken care of. And the playoffs for the NFL playoffs have started. The Cincinnati Bengals played the first game today. Holy shit. They won 26-19 over the Raiders. And the second game was the one that I thought was going to be a lot closer, Bills-Patriots. Instead, the Bills came out like their ass was on fire. And at halftime, they were up, 27-3, I think. Right now, with 1:44 left in the game, the Bills 47, Patriots 17. So, yeah, Bills are going to win that game. So, Bengals and Bills advance to the playoffs. We've got 3 games tomorrow. Eagles, Buccaneers. Unfortunately, I think Tom Brady is going to tear apart the Eagles, and he's going to move on to the next level. 49ers, Cowboys. I want the 49ers to win more than anything, but I think the Cowboys are just going to find a way to pull this one out. So I think the Cowboys are going to win that one. And the Sunday night game is Steelers-Chiefs, the game that the Ravens might have played in if Miami would have lost the Patriots. Instead, the Steelers are going to get annihilated by the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. And then Monday night, for the first time ever, there will be a playoff game on a Monday night where the Arizona Cardinals take on the LA Rams. I think the Rams are going to beat the Cardinals because the Cardinals just disintegrated in the second half of the season. So that's where we are with the playoffs. So we'll see what happens with those tomorrow and Monday. So that was my week. Now today, and actually I started last night, actually. I wanted to watch some movies because I wanted to rewatch the Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield because of his appearance in No Way Home, and I really thought maybe I should reevaluate it after seeing him in No Way Home, because I thought he was outstanding in No Way Home. By the way, my family and I will be going to see it. I will be seeing it again. My family is going to see it for the first time next Saturday. Next Saturday, we're going to have Christmas with my sister real quick. It's also my nephew Drew's 21st birthday. So that'll be cool. And then the 22nd, that Sunday, my dad and stepmom, we're going to have a nice visit and get our Christmas with them done as well. So we have one more weekend of Christmas. Obviously, it could change with weather and COVID and stuff like that, but we'll see what happens. But coming back, we're only going to go down to my sister's real quick, and then we come back because my nephew wants to have a party with his family later in the day for his 21st birthday. So we'll go down there. We'll see them real quick. We'll do a real quick thing and leave probably about, 2 o'clock. And we'll get back up here about 3:30ish, 4 o'clock. And then we can go see a late movie of that. So we'll see what happens if we can work it out. And then And then yeah, so that's what's going on there. But so I decided I wasn't going to do that because by the time that after I got my shots, I was feeling a little off with my arms, and I just wanted to get something to eat. So I was just going to see if I could find something to watch while I ate my dinner late. It was like 9 o'clock or something like that, and so I went on Netflix and I was just looking around. I was like, I don't really feel like anything. I don't really feel like anything. And I stumbled upon something called The Movies That Made Us. It was a docu-series about popular movies and behind the scenes stuff. So I figured, okay, they've got some movies that I'm interested in. I think the first one I ever watched of it was Back to the Future, which is one of my favorite movies, and I became hooked on the show. It has a very distinct style of how it does how it works, but it's a behind the scenes thing. It details the creation of the movie, the troubles that it went through, the casting, what happened during the filming, any interesting stuff that happened during that, any interesting stories as well. And then later on, the success that these films had. Against all odds, and then they present day they go back. A couple of the key players go back to the shooting areas and just take a look around and reminisce about that stuff. And sometimes there's a big name who has died since when the movie came out. They might do a little homage to them or other stuff. Like there was one about Ghostbusters. They had a whole thing about Harold Ramis, which was nice. And then I watched Home Alone. They had a whole thing about John Candy. Which was nice as well. So it's a neat little show, and I just sort of came hooked on it. I watched I think maybe 3 episodes of it. They're all about 45 minutes long, and I watched about 3 episodes of it, and then went to bed about midnight. And then this morning I got up about 10 o'clock, and after checking out on my phone for about an hour and a half or so, I immediately went back on to Netflix and watched another 4 or 5 episodes, and then watched another one at dinner time today. And I still have a bunch that I want to check out. So I'll check those out sometime. Maybe not tomorrow since my family comes back tomorrow, but we'll see. But yeah, so I highly recommend it. If you love movies, it has some really neat behind the scenes stuff, some things I never knew about certain things. A lot of stories you have heard about, like the one about coming to America didn't flinch from the John Landis manslaughter trial, or him and Eddie's breakdown of their friendship and the fight that happened between them, and the Art Buchwald case against them, which I thought at the time, or I had thought until that moment, that the Art Buchwald thing was a slam dunk, that his story, they ripped it off, and he deserved the money that he was requesting for suing the company. But then when I heard from, and not just one group, but a bunch of people involved with it, and found and discovered what the actual story was about, I was like, yeah, it doesn't really have the same exact stuff as Coming to America. It has an African prince, yes, who in the case of Coming to America pretends to be poor, to win a woman's love, to love him for who he is and not for what he can give her as a king or prince of a African country. And the Art Buchwald one was about an African prince who goes to Washington, and a coup attempt happens in his African country where his family is no longer in control of power, and he's trapped in Washington. Now, that alone sounds like an interesting story. And I'd like to maybe see a movie about that, because that could be kind of not really a comedy. That could be kind of maybe a drama comedy, or a dramedy sort of thing. But it did not have the relationship aspect of it, the romance aspect of it. They never lost their money. They were still the rulers of Zamunda. So I really don't see how he should have won that. But I guess the judge saw it as, well, they were both African princes coming to America, so that's good enough for me. And maybe it's a racist thing because Art Buchwald is a white old man, and Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall and the majority of the cast, like I think 95% of the cast, is black. And maybe that's why that the judge sided with the old white dude, but don't quote me on that. So the other interesting thing is the set of Home Alone, the house set. They use the fancy house that we see in the movie just for exteriors. The interiors they could not use for the movie. So they built a house inside a gymnasium. and that's where they did the movie. That was kind of a neat thing. On the Forrest Gump story, I discovered that Vietnam, the scenes filmed in Vietnam, were literally filmed across the street from where Forrest lived in Alabama, and that the house that he lived in with Sally Field was built specifically for the movie. It was not a house that was there that they took over and used as a set. They literally built that house, all the rooms, all the set, and filmed the film there because they were able to purchase the plot of land or use the plot of land that had nothing on it. And the fact that they used literally across the street from this house as Vietnam is even more crazy insane. And that most of the film was filmed in South Carolina and not Alabama. So kind of cool. So just kind of little neat things that you hear about that. So let me see. I'm trying to remember if I watched all the ones I watched. I watched the one about Halloween. I watched the one about Home Alone, Nightmare Before Christmas, Ghostbusters, Coming to America, Back to the Future, Forrest Gump. I feel like I'm missing one in there. It's very possible I'm missing one in there, but those are the only ones that I can remember off the top of my head right now. The ones still remaining that I need to check out, there's one about Die Hard, one about Dirty Dancing, one about Pretty Woman, one about Elf, one about RoboCop, one about Aliens, one about Friday the 13th, one about Nightmare on Elm Street. And I think that's all of them right now. There's not a whole lot of episodes. I think they do maybe 8 a season. So I've watched, a good amount of those. So, it was pretty entertaining, and I enjoyed it. It's the movies that made us, and it's a fun little easy 40-some minute behind-the-scene thing. If you love movies, I would highly recommend checking it out. I think it's pretty cool. I've been screaming for weeks now that, we've got the Book of Boba Fett going on right now, but we know what TV shows from Marvel are supposed to be out this year. We know for a fact that Moon Knight's supposed to be out this year. We know for a fact She-Hulk's supposed to be out for this year. We are sure that Ms. Marvel is supposed to be out this year. And there's a really good possibility that Secret Invasion could come out this year as well, because they're working on that presently as well. Ironheart could be, they've been working on that as well. So we'll see how all that works out. So I kind of want to see where they're sliding things. Plus, I want to see what the Star Wars stuff is, because after Book of Boba Fett, we've got, the Andor one, we've got Obi-Wan, we got Kenobi, we've got the Ahsoka one. And we got Mandalorian season 3. We got to figure out when all that's going to fit in. So Disney has not let us know what's coming yet. That might change for at least one of those shows on Monday night. Now, Monday night, and this is actually kind of funny, as I told you earlier, is on ESPN, which is owned by Disney. They will be airing for the first time ever, a playoff game. Arizona Cardinals, Los Angeles Rams. Monday is also the full moon. And when the moon reaches totality around, I guess, 10 o'clock, something, 9:30, 10 o'clock tomorrow night, or Monday night, I should say, they will release the trailer for Moon Knight, which is apparently now going to be the first show that Disney's going to do. Now, the rumor is that they have a March 30th date for Moon Knight, which leaves a big swath open because Book of Boba Fett goes to about mid-February, and that leaves about probably a big enough period to put another show in there. But nothing's been announced yet, so we'll find out. But they did show some quick shots of it. You get to see Ethan Hawke as his character, who looks absolutely nothing like Ethan Hawke. You get to see Moon Knight in his Moon Knight face mask. You see Moon Knight beating the shit out of somebody. You see Oscar Isaac without the Moon Knight costume on, playing with a Rubik's Cube. And you see some other cool stuff, just some quick flashes. Say this is what's going to come. Then we'll see the whole trailer on Monday when the full moon happens during the playoff game. So I'll look forward to that. We should also probably see the date at the end of the show when it's going to air. I would almost bet money that we're going to see the date. As I said, the rumor right now is March 30th. Was such a big window open between Book of Boba Fett and March 30th. I don't know how true that is. Maybe they pushed it up to February. Maybe they are going to start it early March. Who knows? We'll find out on Monday when they release the trailer, because I'm almost 100% certain that they will tell the date of when Moon Knight's going to come out, because they tend to do that when they show the first major trailer of it, they usually have the date of when it's going to air on there. So to be continued. Now, the beginning of the show, I played the Ronettes, Baby I Love You, which is an outstanding song, and I love the Ronettes, always have, and with Ronnie Spector's death. So she passed away this week, which was very kind of sad, but she wasn't the only major death that came out this week. This year is turning out to be a almost clone version of 2016 when it comes to celebrity deaths, because we're getting blindsided by a lot of these deaths. Now, we know Betty White didn't die in 2022, but she died close enough that you can make a case for that. But we've had a lot of major deaths over the last few weeks and this month alone. I still think maybe 2016 is still going to hold the crown. You know, we lost Bowie and Rickman and stuff like that. Right now, we've only lost a few other people like that. But one big one we lost this week that was almost unexpected was Bob Saget, the patriarch of Full House, the host of America's Funniest Home Videos, also when he was unleashed, a very dirty, very sexual stand-up comedian who didn't really give a fuck. He died at the age of 65. Right now, nobody knows the cause of death. He tweeted something about 3 a.m. before they found his body in his hotel room in Florida. They believe it was probably some form of a heart attack or stroke right now, but we don't know. So Bob Saget died this week. Ronnie Spector died this week. Calvin Sims, Parliament Funkadelic, member of the Parliament Funkadelic. George Clinton, he passed away this week as well. Don Maynard, Jets all-time receiving leader, died at the age of 96. That's New York Jets football all-time receiving leader. James and Tume Foreman sang a song called Juicy Fruit. Don't remember hearing that. He died this week as well. And that's it for right now. But Bob Saget and Ronnie Spector were the big ones this week. So we'll have to wait and see what comes down the pike next week. But not as bad as 2016 yet, but it's getting close there. Now, people who've watched the show before know my distaste for Andy's candies, Andy's mints, stuff like that. It all harkens back to a Thanksgiving at my grandparents' house where I ate too many and I vomited. So I can't eat anything chocolate and mint flavored. So it just reminds me too much. Well, for those who do like it, just in time for Valentine's Day, which is coming out February 14th, which is less than a month away from now, Andy's Mints will be coming together in a heart-shaped box with 2 different flavors of chocolate and mint for your sweetheart, your Valentine, whatever. I will not be buying that for my wife. She loves her jelly beans. I bought her a bunch of heart jelly beans that Starburst does, and I'll maybe buy her some dark chocolate, like I said, too, and some books and stuff like that. So she'll get her good Valentine's Day stuff, as always. It's almost common that this happens every year. The end times are coming. Something is coming to destroy the earth. The what is that? I can't think of it right now. But just the end times are coming at any time every year. The world's going to end this year on this date or whatever, and then the date passes. The rapture, the rapture right now. That date passes and nothing happens. So it just becomes just noise. Well, NASA has joined into the cacophony for this year. So we have gotten finally this year's first. The world is going to end this year. NASA claims that there is a dangerous asteroid that could hit the Earth in 2022. Again, I believe when I see it, they have no date for when this alleged asteroid is going to be close enough to hit us. If it does, maybe we deserve to be destroyed. I wouldn't like to be destroyed. I'd rather take care of business and take out the cancer that is currently festering in our country and then spreading it out to other countries as well, cut out their cancer and maybe figure out a way to heal our earth so that we can live in harmony and keep our families and our children, our future generations healthy as well. But yeah, so No date yet, so that's something at least. So we'll see what happens. I guess when the date gets closer, NASA will be like, "Yeah, it's coming," or they'll just say, "Yeah, we miscalculated. And it's going to miss us by like 50,000 miles or whatever." Like we have asteroids miss us all the time, or maybe it's going to go past Jupiter. Jupiter's going to say like, "Not on my watch," and ship it off into some other direction. So we'll see. But NASA, which is one of the first, most of the people who claim that the end times are coming are usually crackheads or whatever or psychopaths. NASA is a well-respected scientific community, so maybe take it a little bit more seriously than others, but they didn't say it will hit us. It says it may hit us. So even they're not sure. Once they get, and they're going to keep an eye on it. Once they get a more basic idea of understanding what's going to happen, they'll come out and say, "Nah, we're just kidding. It's not going to happen." Or they wouldn't say that, but they'll say, "Nah, it's not going to hit us," or "Yeah, it's going to get us, and we're going to need to figure out a way to stop it." So we'll figure that out when it comes to that. Speaking of disasters, a tsunami hit the country of Tonga this morning after a underwater volcano erupted. It also set off tsunami warnings for the west coast of the United States. I don't think they got a tsunami, but they might have gotten some higher than normal surf, since Tonga is in that Pacific Rim sort of collection that the west coast of the United States is a part of. Here's to making sure that everybody is safe down there, that there hasn't been a whole lot of loss of lives. I haven't really heard much since this morning about what's going on there. The news has been very quiet about that, and also very quiet about the standoff at a Jewish synagogue in Dallas, Texas, where a radicalized Muslim took hostage 3 people at a synagogue. And it's been a standoff for hours now. As I said at the top of the show, it has been finished. The hostage taker has been killed. The hostages have been released for free, are all alive and have been released. So there's that at least. Scream 2022 opened this week. The Thursday night previews garnered $3.5 million, which is fairly impressive for, again, sort of a not a big budgeted film. Has its fan base, obviously, since it's the 5th one, and the return of the Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette, and Marley Shelton from number 4 adds to that with the whole new cast and stuff. Everybody likes these type Scream movies, and I'm intrigued by it. I'm not going to go to the movie theater to see it, but when it comes out on DVD or when I can pick it up at Amazon when it's streaming, maybe then I'll check it out. But no, it's impressive, a 3.5 haul on Thursday. I haven't seen any other, box office news about it. I guess we'll get more information about that. Let me just see if I can find out anything. Box. Let's see if anything in the Box Office Mojo says anything. No, they haven't updated for this week yet, so no idea yet. So again, maybe we'll find out more next week. So we'll find out. But it's looking good so far. 3.5 million on Thursday. Previews is good. It is a Martin Luther King weekend, so a lot of people will have off on Monday. Well, of course, if they get hit by the snow and the ice, they're not going to go anywhere. But in other areas that aren't hit by that, they still might go to see the movie. So we'll check that out as well. Now, Disney announced a whole slew of shows this week. The biggest one was there will be a Santa Claus Disney Plus show featuring Tim Allen from the Santa Claus movies. He's returning to it for a limited series. It means it's not going to be a regular show. It'll be like a one and done probably, but they are going to release a Santa Claus TV show on Disney Plus. Real Steel, which was Hugh Jackman's movie about a fighting robot, is also getting the Disney Plus limited television show debut as well. I doubt Hugh Jackman will be starring in it, but those who like the movie will be able to see more adventures of the Real Steel world. And another potentially new Star Wars series, Bo-Katan, played by Katie Sackhoff, who appeared in Mandalorian 3, is supposedly getting her own show on Disney Plus as well. So, as I said, these were all just announced this week from reputable sources. So I would think, particularly the Santa Claus one was all over the place. So I'm assuming, and the Real Steel one was also, but the Bo-Katan one I've only seen in like one or two places. So we'll have to wait and see if that one is actually true or not. But at least the Santa Claus one and the Real Steel one are true, and more than likely you will not see. I doubt that even if they started filming now, I doubt they would be ready for the end of this year. I'd say you're probably looking at this for probably next year. They'll probably be getting this. Since they just announced it in January, they're going to have to get the scripts. They're going to have to get the set design. They're going to have to cast the actors. They're going to have to rehearse. They're going to have to shoot it. They're going to have to edit it. Any special effects are going to be added in there. Santa Claus, maybe if they start close enough, might be able to make it out by Christmas time of this year, but I don't think so. I think you're looking at sometime next year, rolling through with that. So there's that. Speaking of Disney Plus, the first ever Marvel series, WandaVision, is now officially 1 year old. It premiered on Friday, January 15th of 2021. It was the first of 4 shows on, or was it 5? There might have been 5 shows. WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, and Hawkeye. So it was the first of 5 Marvel Disney Plus shows that came out this week. One of the best shows. Actually started off a little slow. I liked how it started off slow, but a lot of people hated it. But once you got into the 3rd and 4th episodes and things started really going out of hand, and they got to that mind-numbing, mind-blowing final episode, it was like, whoa, this is good. This is exactly what we were dreaming of when Disney Plus announced they were going to be doing MCU Marvel shows. And then they followed that up with Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was also outstanding, and followed that up with Loki, which was good. On retrospect, I think it had some issues. I still liked it because Tom Hiddleston is just that good. And What If had its moments, but wasn't fantastic. But a lot of the stuff you're seeing in What If is going to play out in the live action MCU in years to come, particularly with Doctor Strange. And then Hawkeye was just outstanding. So that's why I want to find out what we're getting from Marvel this year, like as soon as possible, because we're at the 1 year anniversary of WandaVision. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go to Disney Plus and absolutely just binge it. It's really easy. They're half-hour shows. You get about 9 of them, so it's only going to take like 4 hours of your time, 4.5 hours of your time. HBO Max, which has got the DC stuff, they've started some of their DC shows, but they haven't really gone all out on them yet. But they are making movies, and one is the Batgirl movie that has been in the works for a little bit now. And they released the first photo of Leslie Grace, who will be playing Batgirl, Babs Gordon, in the film. And it is a comic accurate costume. Her present costume is this purple, yellowish sort of costume in the comics right now. And that is what we get. She looks good as Batgirl, and looks like it could be actually a big hit for DC. DC has a big year this year with their Shazam sequel, I believe, is coming out this year, and the Flash movie. Batgirl should be out this year as well. Aquaman just finished filming. Aquaman 2 just finished filming, so we've got that coming out soon. So we've got some stuff coming. Red Notice, the Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot, Dwayne Johnson movie that was a hit on Netflix, has gotten 2 sequels. 2 sequels have been put in place now. They will be. That's not the proper frame, but words. But I can't word right now. But they are making 2 sequels, have been picked up, and they will be made over the course of a few years, probably. So Red Notice is getting Red Notice 2 and Red Notice 3 coming up really soon, probably with the same cast as well. Justified with Timothy Olyphant. A lot of people have called it one of the best shows on TV. It ended, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago. It is getting a reboot series with Timothy Olyphant coming back again, sort of similar to the Dexter thing that came out recently on Showtime. where it's been like 10 years since the Dexter show ended, and they're doing like a reboot of it with the same characters, stuff like that. They're doing the same thing here with Justify. So that'll be coming out very soon this year. Quantum Leap reboot has gotten the pilot order for NBC, so we will be seeing a pilot for the new Quantum Leap with a new team behind it. And if they do good, NBC greenlights it, then we will see a new Quantum Leap show as well. But it has made that next level where we'll be going into a pilot. And so it's good enough for NBC that they're sending it to pilot. And we'll see if it gets picked up. Of course, they send lots of stuff to pilots and not everything gets picked up, but we'll see what happens. Kendrick Lamar, David Free, Matt Stone, and Trey Parker will be collaborating on a live-action comedy show for Paramount Plus. So I think it's a show or movie, something like that. Nothing to tell us what it's about yet, but it's going to have a interesting creative team, and we'll see what comes with that. Marvel cast Laura Donnelly as a vampire in the MCU. I'm assuming for the Blade reboot or the Blade show coming up. So we'll see if that holds as well. Okay, so that's it for like TV stuff on this page anyway. Food stuff. Grand's hot cocoa rolls instead of the cinnamon rolls, which Grand's does, which are really, really good. They're going to be doing hot cocoa rolls now for this winter, so you can probably check those out. So it's going to have like a marshmallow drizzle on top, and it's going to have like a chocolatey flavored center instead of a cinnamony one. So we'll see about that. Kellogg's Fruit Loops Sweethearts Crunch is now out for Valentine's Day. I saw it at my local grocery store. So that is out right now. It's heart-shaped like Fruit Loop things instead of Fruit Loops. It's heart-shaped ones. But, it's there for Valentine's Day. So, do with that what you will. Donut Shop Coffee flavored Peeps. Donut Shop Coffee is a flavor of coffee that a lot of people tend to like. I don't think I've ever had it before. But now you can have your Donut Shop Coffee flavored Peep. So you have a coffee flavored marshmallow Peep going to be released soon, and that's interesting. This year, I should say 2021, I drank 3 different types of Mountain Dew, and I enjoyed most of them. And I was waiting to see, what this year would be having. We would have, Mountain Dew related, and we got our first Mountain Dew story for this year, and it's actually a very good one. Mountain Dew had created a flavor called Spark. It is a raspberry lemonade flavored Mountain Dew, which just sounds absolutely outstanding. Which at this moment you can only get, I believe, at Applebee's. Either that or Sam's Club. It's one of those two. It's one of those two that you can only get it at those places. Well, Mountain Dew has announced that they will now release Spark as their new Mountain Dew for this year. One of their new Mountain Dews this year that should be out in all the stores. I would say probably in time for spring. I would assume raspberry lemonade seems more like a summer flavor, but you get it out there springtime. You'll get people into it and interested in, and it maybe will be able to segue into the summer. I'm dying to try that. I can't wait to try that. The apple one was a little disappointing, but it was. I'm glad I tried it. The gingerbread one was okay. Again, not great. And then the watermelon, strawberry, melon, kiwi sort of flavor that Food Lion has access to was okay also. So we'll start out with that. But Spark just sounds like the type of jam that I would like. So I want to try that, and hopefully be able to get a chance sooner or later. The minute that I can, obviously, I will be doing it probably on the show. You'll be able to see me tasting it for the first time. So wonderful. Tomorrow is Community Day for Pokemon Go players. I haven't been as fully invested in Pokemon Go in a while, but community days are always interesting. It is a Sfeel, which is a ice type, which is perfect because the snowstorms come in and ice and stuff like that. So it'll be extra powered up. The special move is supposed to be one of the best ice move you can get. So I'll probably do a few hours of that, but community day no longer is this all day grind that I have to do. It's just I can do it from my home. Get a bunch of stuff, hopefully get some shinies and get enough candy so I can evolve a bunch all the way to its final evolution and get the special move set. So, but Pokemon Go is also celebrating with another community day +1, which is coming out next Sunday, the 23rd. Excuse me. Which is going to bring back Bulbasaur as a community day, which we had way back when community days first started. So we're going to have 2 community days in a row. Spheal tomorrow, Bulbasaur the week after. That one isn't as big of a deal for me because I have plenty of Bulbasaurs, and I might get a few just so I can, get the special move, but I'm not going to go crazy. I got plenty of shinies. It just seems like, a way to, get new players or whatever, invest in the game a little bit more, I guess. Speaking of Pokemon, Logan Paul, who spent $3.5 million on what he thought was a box of legitimate first edition Pokemon cards. Turns out that they were all fake. So he lost his money badly to that. Logan Paul is not the best person in the world. So the fact that it happened to him is, I'm not sure it's schadenfreude is the right term, because I'm not happy that he got suckered, though I know there are a bunch of people that have, but it just seems like, well, you kind of think you're better than everybody, and then, you get screwed. So whatever, maybe there's a bit of schadenfreude. I don't know. Fortnite, I haven't played that in 2 days now. It just hasn't, this new season just has not captured my attention as much as other seasons have. But when I originally started playing Fortnite back in 2020, it was on my phone, the Apple iOS, because we had one Switch, and my son was using that for his Fortnite obsession. So I used my phone for it, and that's how I started getting into the game. And then Fortnite and Apple got into a bit of a fight, and Apple removed it from their system. Well, it's coming back to the iOS via GeForce Now, which I don't know much about that because it's some new thing, but you will be able to play Fortnite very soon on your phone again. I'm not going back because I'm more used to it now on my Switch, and I like it better on the Switch. So my Switch Lite that I got for my birthday in 2020. So it's all good. The first skeleton from the Bronze Age tsunami was discovered in Turkey. So there's a Bronze Age tsunami that hit, and the first skeleton that died from that tsunami was discovered. And he was with his dog also. So there's a dog skeleton that was discovered too. Those who've watched the show also know that one of my bucket list items, I want to see the Northern Lights. I mean, the real Northern Lights, fully inflaming the sky, stuff like that. In that case, I'd have to go to like an Alaska or Canada, North Pole, or even like a Norway, Iceland, sort of Sweden sort of area. But a hotel phone in Iceland, has a bunch of buttons you can press that is like almost like alarms, so that if you want the front desk to call you at a certain time, whatever, you press that button down and they'll do it. Well, one of the buttons on an Iceland phone is if the Northern Lights are in the sky. If you have that button pressed, the front desk will call you and say, "Excuse me, sir, you wanted to see the Northern Lights. They are now presently in the sky. Please get up and check it out if you like to." So that's pretty cool. Now, I told you about the NFL the final week of the NFL was last Sunday, and then the playoffs, as I just started. The Bills have officially won. Let's see what the final score was. Final score was 47-17. So the Bengals advanced with a 26-19 victory over the Raiders. The Raiders go home, and the Bills advanced 47-17, sending Bill Belichick and the Patriots home early as well. So no Bill Belichick in this year's playoffs anymore, Super Bowl anymore. So that's good. And no Brady versus Belichick Super Bowl, because I don't want to see that bullshit anyway. I don't want to see Brady anywhere near the Super Bowl this year. I want him to get knocked out as soon as possible, though he probably won't get knocked out to the championship game, if then. So we'll see. But it's always, I think they call it like Black Monday or something like that, where after the season is over, a lot of teams that underachieved, they fire their head coaches or their GMs. This year was a bloodbath. About 6 to 7 head coaches and GMs were all released within a couple days of each other. So there's going to be a huge number of first-time coaches starting up when the new season begins, coming up in September. So the Ravens was not one of those teams, but we'll see what happens. Cinnamon roll waffles. And I talked about the hot cocoa roll mixes you have now. Well, if you have cinnamon roll dough, the newest thing they've been doing now is if you have a waffle maker, you unravel your cinnamon roll dough instead of cutting it up and turning it into cinnamon rolls. You put that dough on a waffle maker and bring the waffle maker down, and you create cinnamon roll waffles. That is a new thing now out and about as well. Oh yeah, Cafe in Japan has hired handicapped and paraplegic people to control robot servers so that they still get paid, but they're not actually, they don't, and since they can't actually get up and move around and serve food, they get paid for controlling robots who will go drop off orders, take orders, and stuff like that. I think that's really brilliant. Japan is way ahead of us when it comes to stuff like that, and I think that's really, really kind of cool. So good on them for doing that. A certain plant will faint when it needs sustenance, light, water, food, love, whatever. And once it gets what it wants, it will perk back up as if nothing happened. So it's playing you guys, but it's kind of funny that the plant actually does do that. Here's your headline of the week. Nude man stabs second nude man on Seattle streets, or streets of Seattle. How do two men, naked men, I should say, end up stabbing each other on the streets of Seattle? Don't know. And I talked about the donut coffee Peeps. Well, how about a coffee donut inspired ice cream bar from Klondike? I think I've talked about that one before, but it showed up on my feed this week, so I figured I'd bring it up again so you can be able to find that if you want to. Vanilla frosted flakes with marshmallows is apparently a new thing I've seen out and about periodically. I mean, frosted flakes already has sort of a vanilla flavor to it with the frosting on it, but I guess it's a bit more of a vanilla flavor, but now it has marshmallows in it. I forget what the mix was, but there's a new cereal that mixes two cereals together into one box. Popular is one box, and that's always been kind of cool because when we were younger, if you had two boxes of cereal that had very little in it, you would put them together and mix them up and eat them that way. In this case, we have a new one now that's formed this way. It is Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Lucky Charms mixed cereal is now available. That sounds like a kind of interesting tasting flavor that I wouldn't mind probably trying as well. Here's going back in the Wayback Machine, the animated film Rio about a parrot that flies to Rio to find love or whatever. A sequel has been greenlit at Disney Plus. So Disney Plus is all over the place this week doing all kinds of new stuff. So that's a new one as well. Denzel Washington will be reteaming with Antoine Fuqua, and they will be making The Equalizer 3. The first two Equalizers are making good money. Have made good money, so they can continue that as well. Strawberry and dark chocolate Kit Kat duos, which is the new duos flavor. The previous one is like a coffee chocolate flavored one. Now we have a strawberry and dark chocolate flavored duo Kit Kat coming out in time for Valentine's Day. Strawberry, chocolate covered strawberries is always a big, I guess, Valentine's Day sex thing. So we'll see what happens. Spider-Man No Way Home has surpassed the original Avengers movie from 2012 on the all-time box office list. It is now number 8 on the all-time box office films with $1.536 billion to its name right now. So, it's still out in theaters. It's still making bank. It will not be available on streaming or digital until February 28th. So you got almost a full month and a half left in the theaters for this to make its way down the list. Do I think it's going to become number one? No, I don't. But it might be in top 5 by the time all this is over with. So we'll find out, and we'll help with it. So the CW and Robert Rodriguez are teaming up to do a gender-flipped Zorro TV show. Now, instead of Zorro being a male, Zorro will now be a female. And I think that's kind of a really cool idea. And with Robert Rodriguez behind it, it should be even more interesting as well. Now, football season is over. We can start talking about baseball. Yay. The Orioles are now on year 4 of their rebuild. I highly doubt they're going to they're supposed to, by this time, the Houston Astros were winning playoff games and stuff like that in their rebuild, and we're still, we're probably not gonna lose 100 games, but we're gonna probably lose 80 some. So we're still not good enough. A lot of our young guys are gonna start coming up and playing, and I'm just, don't get me all started on the whole Orioles, rebuild thing. It's ridiculous. But one way to maybe help the Orioles out this year is Camden Yards has always been known to be a batter-friendly park because of the short left field porch. Well, they decided, we can't have that anymore. We haven't had a lot of fans here anyway because of COVID, so we're going to knock out about 1,000 seats and push the walls back so that it's going to be harder for home runs to be hit in Camden Yards. So that could, in turn, help the team maybe win some more games because they're not going to be playing from behind, which when it could have been when it was a home run, which is an automatic run, it could be a double, could be a single, a triple, whatever, but that person might not make it home and no runs will be given to them as a possibility. And so we'll see how that happens, if that happens. Strawberry cheesecake baby bunts, a treat from Hostess, is now coming out just in time for Valentine's Day as well. Twinkie flavored coffee creamer from International Delight Creamers, which is my creamer of choice, will be coming out very soon. And from Coffee Mate, they are doing a Golden Grams flavored coffee creamer, which could be interesting, and a Rice Krispie Treats coffee creamer as well, which could be interesting too. So that could be pretty good down the line. Speaking of Spider-Man No Way Home, it has been eliminated from being able to be nominated for the BAFTAs due to some sort of ineligibility clause or something like that. I don't quite understand why it's not going to be able to be voted on for being a Best Picture or whatever, but the BAFTAs will not be nominating No Way Home for anything, which still leads the Oscars, which might potentially be able to nominate it. I honestly don't think No Way Home probably should be nominated. It's a great film, don't get me wrong, but I do not believe it is Oscar worthy. So we'll see. But again, the whole reason that they went to 10 Best Picture slots is to put some of these more popular films into those slots so that fans of that movie will be able to watch the Oscars then, because they think that maybe this movie that I've seen might win an Oscar, despite the fact that the majority of the films that are in the Oscars, regular people, have not really seen so much. So to be continued, I guess. And Kent, we'll get to that in a little bit. Every DC comic book that came out last week had a Batman connection to it, which is insane. I think there was like a Detective Comics came out, and the Joker came out, and the Robins, and the Batgirls, and then there was like a Justice League that had Batman in it. There was Teen Titans that had Robin in it. There was like a Superman that had Batman in it. So every comic had some sort of connection with Batman, and you think that that's kind of a weird, wild sort of thing that maybe you shouldn't. Shows that you're putting too much into Batman. Maybe you should start spreading the love around a little bit. Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet, who appeared to be one of the most perfect Hollywood couples, have announced their divorce, which now gives hundreds of horny single women, a possibility that maybe Jason Momoa, who they all lust after, might come after them. Or in one case, someone tweeted out, now I can fantasize about Jason Momoa without figuring out a way to get Lisa Bonet out of the picture. So, no one thought that was going to happen, but it happened. The new trailer for the Pamela and Tommy Lee TV series with Seth Rogen and Sebastian Stan. And I forget the woman who is absolutely stunning as Pamela Anderson. She was in the movie about the Beatles. Anyway, new trailer came out. It actually looks like a really good show. An interesting premise, and I'll have to check it out when it either comes to Netflix or whatever, because it's on Hulu and I don't have Hulu, or it comes out on DVD or whatever. I'll have to check it out then. But a new trailer came out, so we'll check it out if you would like. Encanto was named Best Animated Feature at the Golden Globes. I'll talk about the Golden Globes in a little bit, but Encanto did win Best Animated Feature of all time. I'll talk about the Golden Globes at the end of the show. Arby's Double Dare sandwich is so hot that it comes with a free milkshake. So if you decide to try the Double Dare Arby's sandwich, they will give you a free milkshake because it is just that hot. Oreos will be celebrating 110 years with a new flavor that has sprinkles in the cream. I did not know Oreos were around for 110 years. That makes it 1912 is when Oreos were first invented. Wow. Georgia Bulldogs have won the national championship. They beat Alabama on Monday. So that's a good thing because Alabama is one of those teams that always seems like they're always in the national championship and they always win it, and it's ridiculous and it shouldn't happen, but it does, and that's just the way college football rolls. But congratulations to Georgia on that. Tuesday saw the arrival of Storms to Fortnite, which is a game I've been playing. As I said, I haven't been playing it as much. The Storms really do not affect gameplay all that much, to be honest. They're cool to look at. If one happens to spawn near you, you can either get hit by lightning, which drops your power down a little bit, but it gives you a little burst of speed. It also sets fire to trees and stuff like that if lightning strike hits around you. And they have tornadoes, which you can actually jump in and spin around in and go flying if you need to. So we'll see how that goes. The big update will be on Tuesday, so I'll probably start playing it again more regularly next week because there's going to be a huge update with a whole bunch of slate of new things coming out. So we'll see what happens with that. Polar bears have taken over an abandoned meteorological center in Chukotka, Russia. So they've taken that. So why not? I mean, it's nobody's using it. May as well, it gives them, as much coverage as a cave does. So, hey, we'll hang out here then. Book of Boba Fett, Episode 3. I continue to like this show, even though lots of people hated it. It was directed by Robert Rodriguez, had appearances by Stephen Root, and Danny Trejo, surprisingly as well, came up as the new Rancor trainer as he brought a new baby Rancor as a tribute to Boba Fett, and Boba Fett wants to, treat it like a pet. So that's kind of a neat little segue into that. We had one quick flashback sequence where his Sand People friends were annihilated by the bad guys, and he goes and makes a deal with these fish people. So then we spent most of the episode in present day. The Jabbas have decided to leave because the mayor is teaming up with these same fish people who are bringing an army to take over the Mos Espa area. And the Jabba said, that too much for us. Boba released the Dark Wookiee. So I'm sure it's going to play into something down the line as well. And he also had a bunch of what I like to call the Baker Street Irregulars, all in different colored speeder bikes, that people were comparing to the Power Rangers because they thought it was a goofy scenario, but I thought it was freaking hilarious. It was a slow-paced land speeder chase through the town of Mos Espa, which had all kinds of goofy Robert Rodriguez, that sort of stuff, but I thought it was actually absolutely hilarious, and I enjoyed it immensely. I guess everybody just wants a straight-up dramatic badass Boba Fett, and they can't handle some of this little bitty bit of humor, which, to be honest, as kids, when you're playing with these Star Wars figures, you're going to do all this crazy-ass shit, and that's what they're doing right now. So I think people just need to relax a little bit and sit back and enjoy. It's still a very entertaining show. I like it a lot. I still like The Mandalorian a bit better right now because I've never been a real big fan of Boba Fett. I think Tamora Morrison is very wooden, but I love Big Na Wen. And the fact that we now have Danny Trejo, who potentially could be a major part of the show, and Stephen Root is now ensconced in it as well. I think we've got some good stuff coming up, and we've got a ways to go. So it's only 3 episodes in out of 8 or 9. So we've got 5 or 6 more to go. So we shall see what happens. A hungry badger unearths 200 Roman coins while he was looking for food. So this badger was just out in the woods, and he's, digging in the ground and looking for food, and he happens to find 200 Roman coins. I didn't care less about those. He just digs around them, gets his food, and runs away. But people, coming through the woods, they see this, and they pick up the coins and everything like that. Now, the quarters, the United States quarters, the 25-cent pieces, have been undergoing a lot of changes for years now. Starting with, they had every state appear on the quarters. Then they had every national park show up on every quarter. They had every president show up on every quarter, I believe. And now they're going to have every big-time female hero showing up, with Maya Angelou being the first of this new set of quarters, her being on a quarter. So that's kind of cool that quarters are still doing that. The LAPD ignores crime while they're trying to catch a Snorlax in Pokemon Go. So there's 2 police officers who are playing Pokemon Go while on duty. A Snorlax pops up, and they try to catch it. While they're trying to catch it, a crime occurs, and they do not go after the criminal because they're trying to catch Snorlax. A 5,000-year-old prosthetic eye was found in New Zealand. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not in New Zealand. In near Zorbal in Iran. Excuse me. It was made out of tar, animal fat, and painted gold, and it was the first that they've ever seen of a kind of prosthetic eye. So that's kind of a neat little archaeological thing in there. Leonardo DiCaprio gets a tree species named after him. It's the Euvaryopsis DiCaprio. He's always been big into ecology and stuff like that, so it's kind of good that he got that named after that. Siberian tiger with 2 cubs has been spotted on some trail footage in Russia, thought to be almost extinct or whatever, but the fact that they're still out there and they're having kids is a good sign that maybe Siberian tigers are going to start coming back soon. Already talked about the playoffs, and we're finally going to end today's episode with the Golden Globe Award winners. Now, due to COVID and other stuff, and I don't even remember seeing the nominees for Golden Globe Awards when they first came out. And then they said that they were going to do an all virtual Golden Globe, so it was not aired on a TV show. I just happened to be looking on Twitter, and I guess I follow the Golden Globes, and they just kept releasing, and this person won, and this person wins, this person wins. It's like, oh, okay. So here's what we get for the winners. In no particular order. Will Smith won for Best Actor in a Drama Motion Picture for King Richard. The Best Drama TV Series was Succession. Actress in a Drama Motion Picture was Nicole Kidman for Being the Ricardos. Actress in a Musical or Comedy was Rachel Ziegler for West Side Story. Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture, Cody Smith-McPhee for The Power of the Dog. Actor in a Musical or Comedy was won by Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom. Actress in a drama TV series, MJ Rodriguez won for Pose. Original song, No Time to Die by Billie Eilish. Best director of a motion picture was Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog. Best original score was Dune by Hans Zimmer. Screenplay of a motion picture was Belfast by Kenneth Branagh. Supporting actress in a motion picture, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story. Animated feature film, Encanto, which I already talked about. Miniseries or TV film, The Underground Railroad won. Actor in a drama TV series, Jeremy Strong for Succession. Actor in a musical or comedy series, Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso. Actress in a miniseries, Kate Winslet, Mayor of Easttown. Supporting actor in a series, Oh Young-soo for Squid Game. Actress in a musical or comedy show, I guess, Jean Smart for Hacks. Supporting actress in a series, Sarah Snook for Succession. Musical or comedy TV series, Hacks. Actor in a miniseries or motion picture, I guess, Michael Keaton for Dope Sick. Let's see if I have any other ones that I missed here. A best motion picture drama was The Power of the Dog. I think I said that already. I think that might be everything. I'm just going through this last bit here. Yep. I should have just hit this one. This has everything. No. Marked out. Yeah, I think that might have been everything. Yep, that was everything. So there's all your winners. The Academy Awards is not going to do that. They actually are looking for somebody to host this year. So they're not going to do that. So we'll see what that's all going to happen for that. And that's it for today's episode of Dylan Knows. It is just after midnight, so we're now on Sunday, the 16th of January. Snow will be arriving here in Maryland in about 15 hours from now. So about 15 hours from now, we're going to start getting some snow. They say it's going to start heavy for the first 3 hours, and then by nightfall, it's going to turn over to freezing rain, which is going to cause things to be a complete foobar mess on Monday. So we'll find out. Next week, as I said, got a busy week. Don't know exactly when I'll do this. Probably Saturday night. Might be a little out of it because I got to drive to my sister's, drive back, go watch No Way Home, come back from that. Excuse me. And then Sunday, I'm going to see my dad and stepmom. So maybe on Sunday after that or before that or whatever. So we'll see. Sometime next week, I will have a show. Just don't know when. Maybe it'll be on Friday. Who knows? But I'll let you know what's going on with that. I think I can give you the only things I can think of are I don't think the Academy Award nominees are coming out. Because normally it's around this time. Let's see when the Academy Award nominations are. Academy Award. Awards nominations. Here we go. The Academy Awards itself will be on March 27th, 2002. Which is on my sister's birthday, actually, which is weird. I should have written when are the... Oh, there it is. No. Oh! I just have to go back here. When are Oscar nominations announced? Okay. February 8th. Okay, so February 8th, 2022 is when the Academy Award nominees will be announced. March 27th is when the Academy Awards will take place, which is my sister's birthday. So we got a little ways to go for that. So on that note, I am finally going to say goodnight and take care of your guys' self. And if you are in the snow area, be careful. Spend the day tomorrow, or today, I should say, not today, watching football. We got 3 games today. Or just chill out and relax. And hopefully maybe you'll have a day off tomorrow on Monday for Martin Luther King Day. Take care and have a great one. Bye-bye.